Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome to another Make It Monday. I am Nan Gerlitz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bloomington, Illinois. Really happy to have you joining me here today. If you are watching the replay, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find some good tips, some little tricks or things like that, some new information. That's my goal every week. And if you are watching live, please drop a comment because I love to see who's hanging out with me live on a Monday night. So I am live here on my Facebook page every Monday night at 7 p.m. We have some holidays coming up, obviously, here. I'm in the U.S., but pretty much Christmas is worldwide, so New Year's is worldwide. I will be here next Monday night, the 19th, still at 7 p.m. Central. I will not be live on the 26th. That's the day after Christmas. I will be spending some time with my family. And I haven't decided if I'm going to be here on the, 2nd? January 2nd? We'll see. I'll let you know. But definitely not the day after Christmas. I will be live next week and then not the following week. All right. So let's see here. Tonight for you, I have the winner of our Friday night stamping competition, this fun little Christmas card. And this was not my entry. This was the Stamper Man's entry. Congratulations, sweetheart. He won this one, and both of us kind of went with my theme for the week on Facebook. So I decided to just go ahead and do his card since it won. I said, I'm just going to see who wins, and we'll do that. So, just checking my battery because I realized my charger's not plugged in. So I want to make sure we're good. Woot, woot. That's right. This is the lovely Stamper Man, for those of you who have not met him. We hang out down here in the studio every Friday night, and we each make a card, and then I post it on Facebook for everybody to vote on. And this week, he was our winner. Good job. He does kick my butt on a fair amount of occasions. So just so you know, just because I'm the professional, he's a kick-ass card maker. Okay. So tonight I will show you this cool thing. Now this is actually black and white paper. It comes black and white, and you'll see when I tip the camera down that it's actually colored in a bit. So I'm going to show you 4 different ways to color in black and white paper, because we all kind of have neutral papers or monotone papers, whatever, monochromatic. So let's flip the camera down. We'll get started with some things. But I have a little something to show you. First of all, yay, Penny's here. Hello, hello, Penny. We just started. You didn't miss a thing. Okay, I wanted to show you all one thing. I am working on Christmas gifts for my coworkers at my day job. And I'll have a little preview here for you. This is my January calendar page. Super cute. And if you've been paying attention all year, since last year, I said, oh, I'm going to be smart in 2022, and I'm going to make each month's calendar pages like that month. So I should have made this in January. That didn't happen, folks. Raise your hand if you're surprised. Any of you who know me are not surprised. So I've been making them all the last couple of weeks, and I will say I got smarter this year, and I went with a standard layout. So I knew I just had to pick up background papers, and I knew what size to cut all of those, and I knew what size to cut all of these, and then I just had to pick some accent. So I did make it easier on myself, but still, silly, silly me. I swear I'm going to do better next year. But in doing that, I'm going to reveal a little something. I ran out of the thick white cardstock, so we went to a store that shall not be named, and we got some thick white cardstock because I just needed it for the bases. My coworkers aren't going to care, right? So it's fine. So I thought, well, I had some leftover bits, so I figured I would stamp some of I would use it for the accent pieces. And I'm going to show you something here. I was just stamping for December. This is a reindeer I stamped, and you can see it's kind of not fully stamped in ink, right? This was gone over twice with the Stamparatus, so I put it down on the Stamparatus. I inked it up twice and stamped it twice. This is that same reindeer on Stampin' Up! Cardstock on basic white. Very good ink coverage, stamped once. So, yeah. Okay, so here, Penny says, welcome to the dark side. No, I will not be joining you on the dark side, because this is what happens when you go to the dark side. You don't get good coverage. So I understand completely that those of you watching may not only purchase Stampin' Up! Product. I totally get that. I have no problem with that. All I'm telling you is Stampin' Up! Cardstock is designed to take ink better than a lot of other cardstock out there. I don't know all of them. I haven't tested all of them, but I'm telling you that that's one ink, one stamp, boom, full coverage. And just so you know, this was stamped just, 10 minutes before I went online. And all of these were stamped right after that. And you can see, again, good full coverage on Stampin' Up! Basic white cardstock. It's made to take ink. It's super lovely coated. It's made to give you good images. Don't skimp on the cardstock that you stamp on. If you're using it for a base, hey, have at it, whatever you want. I'm also going to tell you that Stampin' Up! Cardstock is priced pretty much however all the other cardstock is. It's not really more expensive. So don't skimp, people. Don't, if you're in a hurry, that's fine. I get it. You got to go to the store, but order the good stuff, doggone it. It'll save you money in the long run anyway. Okay, lecture over. But I did want to share that because I was quite surprised by the difference, since I don't really use non-Stampin' Up! Cardstock. Why would I? It's kind of my job. So I was really surprised at how big of a difference it was. So wanted to share that with you. Okay, reminder that our Last Chance Products sale is still going on right now. You can click the link in the description to see that. And I went online right before my live here tonight. And just to give you an idea, these are the suite collections that are in this one. 6 of the 8 suites are gone because products within them are gone already. So lots of your favorites may have already sold out. You definitely want to check that out. Everything is while supplies last. Some things are up to 60% off. And you can check that all out at that link in the description. All right, let's get stamping. Okay, as always, I have given you a link in the description to the full supply list with cardstock measurements, so you can sit back and just listen to the sultry tone of my voice and not worry about taking notes. Okay, 4 stamps tonight. It's interesting. Where are they? They're there. Tonight we are using a stamp set that is from Paper Pumpkin. So Paper Pumpkin is our monthly subscription kit. Let me get some white cardstock to back that so you can see that better. So our monthly subscription kit, Paper Pumpkin, is awesome, awesome, awesome. It comes every month. You get it in your mail, and it comes with a complete set of projects. It's cards. It might be a home decor project. It might be gift packaging or tags. That kind of thing. This is from, I believe, October of last year, this particular stamp set. It comes with a little ink spot, and it comes with an exclusive stamp set that you can't get anywhere else. You can't buy it in any of our catalogs, but they only come with our subscriptions. So you'll get new stamps every month. You'll get a new ink color each month of a calendar year, because they don't repeat ink colors. So it's a great way if you're just starting out, especially, or if you have space limitations. It's a great way to build your ink colors and your stamp collection pretty inexpensively, and you get really cute projects along with it. Everything's pre-designed, pre-cut, pre-scored. Instructions come with it. There's also a video that comes with it every month, and they put out a Spotify playlist to go along with it. How fun is that? So we are using one of the stamps from this stamp set from last year as our stamp. Fun little thing. Inks. We've got a couple of things going. We are using our Old Olive ink pad, and then we are also using Old Olive and Poppy Parade blends, because we didn't have the real red blends, by the way. but these go pretty well. So you can substitute either of those. Okay, cardstock we have over here. The good stuff, of course. Okay, we have a piece of Real Red that is 8.5 by 5.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4. Go ahead and burnish that with our bone folder so it lays nice and flat. Next, we have a piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. That's for the inside. We have a piece of that designer paper. This is from the Celebrate Everything pack, which is a host pack, but don't let that word scare you. Anybody that places a $150 order or more in the US, you can get host rewards or Stampin' Rewards. So you can purchase the host packs of things or the host stamp sets. So this pack of paper is pretty much what I used almost exclusively on my calendar pages, because it really does celebrate everything. So you've got Christmas, you've got, like I had 4th of July firework paper, I had all sorts of things. So, and it's 48 sheets you get in this pack. So this also is retiring because it's a host thing. So once this mini catalog is done or it runs out of stock, it's gone. So if you like this pack of paper, definitely hop on and grab that. We have another little piece of Real Red that is about 3.5 by 2.5. We have another piece of basic white that is 3 by 2.5. That's for the front. Okay. We will be using our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the Baby Boss. We will also be using the new Something Fancy dies that are not quite available yet, but will be on January 5th. So just keep salivating, keep drooling over them. You can order them soon enough. So we'll be using a couple of these labels. We also have our Real Red Garden Green ribbon pack. So we're going to use the Real Red out of there. And red rhinestones, super fun. Because sometimes you just need red ones, not the plain ones. We'll also be using dimensionals and mini glue dots as our adhesives. All right. And yes, we'll be doing a fork bow. And doggone it, ladies and gentlemen, Russ tied his own fork bows this week. So he's been asking me to do it up till now. But then Friday night he says, okay, show me how to do this. And he tied 2 of them. So you can, if he can learn it, you can learn it too. All right, let's get to stamping, shall we? As always, let's do the inside. Let's get some pieces out of my way so I'm less confused by everything. All right. I do know that he used the little snowflake guys on the inside of the card. Find my Stampin' block. There we go. So all of the stamps that you receive in the paper pumpkin kits are also photopolymer, so they're see-through, so they're really easy for placement and everything like that. That's awesome. And also, in your first kit, you get a block that's about this size. It's thinner, but it's that size. And every stamp set, this size block will accommodate. So you don't ever have to worry about getting other blocks if you don't want to. So again, if you have budget or space constraints, one block will do all of your paper pumpkin stamps. So that's awesome as well. All right. And because of that, I only brought one block over with me. So we're just going to do the entire card with this one block. And then I believe, yes, we did the really, this particular stamp set has a nice little greeting that says from our home to yours, which is awesome. And because it's thin like this, the best way to do it is to put it down on your paper so it's straight and then put your block to it. Because if you try to, and I'll do it with a different one because I don't want to do that again. If you try to put your stamp on your block like this, And I did. It's like crooked. It goes down on that side. So it's very easy to do that because paper or photopolymer stamps are all twisty and bendy, which is great if you want to like stamp them in a rainbow shape or something. But when you want to stamp them straight, the best way to do that is to put them down, pick it up with your block. All right. Ink that up. Voila. I love it. All right, we'll clean that one off. I'm going to leave that open for a minute and just pray that I don't get ink all over myself. Because let me tell you, when I've been making these calendars, like there's been some stamp tornadoes happening down here in the studio, and my hands have been like, of course, black with ink because I'm stamping in the Memento black ink all over the time. So it's been a little dicey down here. A few smudges on the cardstock. All right, so let's go ahead and get that inside done. Now I did notice that Russ used the Real Red to stamp his greeting. I did not, because I was going to stick with the one stamp pad's going to do you tonight. Okay. I'm showing you stamping on a budget tonight, people. Okay. So let's go ahead and stamp that greeting. There we go. Peaceful Christmas wishes. I will say this Merry Christmas as well is one of my favorites. Like that font is just gorgeous. We've got a holiday cheer. I love the trees in this one. I've used this particular stamp set quite a bit. And I'm kind of pulling my paper pumpkins out more and more lately. It really has helped with the calendars because you want something kind of to match each month, right? Well, Paper Pumpkin usually comes out with seasonally appropriate images. So it's been very nice to, pull there was a baseball themed one. So I pulled that out, I think, for June and things like that. There we go. Inky fingers are my happy place. I always tell people if your hands aren't inky, you haven't had enough fun today, right? That's how we roll. The only problem with that is when I'm working with white cardstock and I have black ink on my fingers and then I smudge pieces and I have to restamp or recut or whatever. So that was my only frustration. Okay, so that's all the stamping done. Let's go ahead and die cut these two pieces. And then I will show you the coloring that designer paper. And I have a few other examples for you so you can see kind of some different ways to add color to that. Because we usually have kind of just a black and white option. We have a couple of them in the catalog now, actually. So I don't remember. I have to see which one he used. Yep, the smallest one in the middle one. Let's see if we can get these both on here at the same time. So because this is a straight edge, I want to angle it just a little bit. It goes through the machine a little easier if you're not parallel to the rollers. I don't think we're going to have enough room for that guy. Oh, yeah. Well, there we go. We can put the cardstock straight and the die not straight. Okay. So the other thing you want to remember about the Baby Boss is that you don't want to put these two plates even with each other at the edge. You want to either lead off a little bit with this one. Here, let me get this guy out of the way so I can explain that better. So what you don't want to do is have these all be even. They don't go through the machine easy enough that way. What you do want to do is either have this top one back a little bit or forward a little bit. And I'm not going to be able to die cut these both at once and do that. So we will do them one at a time. So if you were using the Big Boss, the main Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you could obviously easily do these both at the same time. But as I said, I'm showing you Stampin' on a budget, so I thought I'd use the smaller machine since it is completely capable of taking care of these dies. You know, these dies will fit in the smaller one, so I wanted to show you that. All right, so got our cardstock, we've got our label. And really, when you're doing these plates, they just have to cover the die that you're using. So I can start this way back here and it's not a problem because it's just the thickness of that part that matters. That went a little crooked. There we go. So, and you'll notice I didn't tape that one down because I was not trying to go around a stamped image. I just need the die. I just need the shape. All right. Okay, so we can attach these two. Perfect. What were y'all up to this weekend? Anything fun? I know we picked up the grand boys on Saturday and took them shopping for a little bit and then out to dinner. And then dropped them off, and then we headed over to karaoke because there was an early karaoke place. So we got in a little singing. And then we came home and wrapped some presents. Okay, so the first way that we are going to color the black and white paper is we're using Stampin' Blends. Very easy, obvious way to do that. So let's grab our Old Olive and we'll just kind of do some swoops. Make me want to shoop, right? So just a little. Add some green to that tree. Let's take our lighter one, maybe color in this guy. And I'm going to do a very rough color. Lots of white space there, right? Nothing fancy. Let's just color this little stick tree. It's like a Charlie Brown tree. Do a couple of those. We'll add some color to those. Very, very easy. Right? So, and what I recommend too is if you're not sure, oh, should I use the dark? Should I use the light? Like something like this, we're not really blending for shading or anything. I'm just adding pops of color. So if you have something like this, what I would recommend is cut a little strip off of, just kind of a scrap and color right on it with each of your markers that you're looking at. And that way you'll see exactly how it's going to look on this paper. Because if you do it on a different paper, you don't always get the same tone. And so you might be surprised when you go to your project. So, birthday party and cookie exchange. Didn't you have cookie exchange at work too? Did you have 2 cookie exchanges? Probably, because you're an overachiever on the baking front, aren't you, Penny? All right, I'm going to take the Poppy Parade and fill in some of these checkerboards. So I literally just popped dots on those. And that was pretty much it. Just add a little bit of color. All right, so just a little bit of red here and there. And we'll go ahead and put this on. And another reminder that your Stampin' Blends will bleed through your paper, so make sure you don't want to use the other side or make sure it's not going to be exposed. You're going to want to have that up against your cardstock base or something like that. All right, make sure we're right side up. Okay, this guy goes on with dimensionals. Oops. Get all my other stuff up here. Just a couple will do it. 3 cookie things in 24 hours. Holy moly. I am making 1 baked good this year, and that's it. So you are way ahead of me, let me tell you. Okay, let's do our fork bow next, because I want to wait to place the rhinestones till I know where my ribbon's going to be. Okay, so fork bow. I leave my ribbon on my spool. That way I know exactly where to cut it off and I have less waste. So you're going to start from the right side. I am right-handed, so I suppose if you were left-handed, you probably would reverse all this unless you can easily work it this way. So you'll just hold the fork in your left hand. You'll go from the right to the left, come over the top of that, and then you're going to go through that middle tine underneath everything. See, so you've kind of crossed, right? And then you're going to hold that tail in your left hand between a couple fingers. Hold onto your fork. Give that one a tug, and then it's going to come up and around in between that middle tine. Okay? And just flip it over, tie it in a knot. 1 knot only. Where are my Red October fans? And then you just cut it off. And when you slide it off, bam, there is your beautiful bow that will not come untied, which is amazing to me, unless you wanted to unknot it. But it's perfect that way because you're not going to ruin it by fussing with it or anything like that. Taking my life in my hands here, cutting my ribbon like that. There. Just wanted to trim my ends a little bit. Now here's where we're going to use our glue dot. For those of you that have not used glue dots before, they come in a roll like this, and you just kind of peel back that paper to expose the next glue dot. If you can see that, there you go. And we're just going to press the ribbon onto it. So anytime you use glue dots, for the most part, you're going to press the thing onto it that you want. And then your glue dot's on there, and whammo. You can also use what we call the green glue, the liquid glue. You could put a dot of that on there, put the ribbon down, and then my friend likes to take her block and just set it on there until it dries while she's doing the rest of her things. So that is an option as well. I am not that patient to wait for things to dry, so I like to use my glue dots because it's just done. It's stuck. And then when I'm done with that, so my next dot is right there, I tend to peel that paper off so I know I don't have to go hunting for the next glue dot forever. I know it's right there. All right, let me get some things out of my way. We will grab the take your pick tool and add some red rhinestones to the tops of our trees. I love them. I will say, I do love this time of year because we get to use red rhinestones. Usually they're on the front of a reindeer's nose. They make perfect Rudolph noses. All right, that's only 4. I feel like we need another one, but I can't really decide where it should go. And so here's another little tip for you. Whenever you're kind of looking for where to place the next stamped image or where to place the next rhinestone and you can't decide, that means you're done. Step away. That was a great tip that I got from a demonstrator a long time ago, and it has served me very well. So there is the recreation of his card. You can see differings of coloring styles and whatnot, but basically the same thing, right? So now let me show you a couple of other things. I won't be making full cards with these others. I'm just going to show you the other ways we could have colored these. So my first example uses our watercolor pencils. So here's just the pencils. I used the garden green, you can see right there, and then on the little stripy tree, I used the cherry cobbler. So this is we have two assortments. This is assortment number 2 of the watercolor pencils. We have another assortment as well that has different colors in it. So I just took a few, did some basic little coloring. That was it. Super, super simple. For this one, I did the exact same thing, except I took our blender pens, which are kind of like clear markers or markery watercolor tips, right? So you can see the difference here, like these two trees. I used the exact same watercolor pencil on both of these. This one, I just left it. This one, I blended in with that blender pen. And I can show you that real quick so you can kind of see it in action. Let's grab I think this is garden green. The nice part is they have the names on there. They have the colored tips so you know which color you're looking for. So if you're looking to match a color, you can do that very easily with this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to color in this polka dot tree. Just going to do a very rough color in. Okay, so there it is, just colored in. You can kind of see the pencil lines. Now let's grab one of our blender pens. And you'll notice that the tips of these, let me make sure this is, yeah, one of those ends is kind of dry. And they don't last forever, obviously. But you'll notice that the tip is stained, but it still colors clear. And that's what you're looking for. So now, I'll try to do this up close to you. I'm literally just going to squiggle over it like I was coloring with a marker. And all this does is move the color along and blend it. Hence the name blender pens. And it makes it more vibrant, obviously, because you're adding some water to it, right? And then when you're done, you just color on your scrap paper until that's clear and it's good to go to the next color. So, so handy. These come in a pack of 3. They're 2, double tipped. So you've got 6 different tips you can work with. And they last a good long. I've had those for years. So they're awesome little coloring tools. You can use those with our ink pads, how I've shown you like the watercoloring with the little well of ink in the ink pads. You can do that. You can do it with our watercolor pencils. You can use our re-inkers, all sorts of things with the blender pens. So that's 2 different ways you can do it. Another one is with our sponge daubers. These little guys are super fun. They just fit on your finger. All cute, as like you can do little puppet shows. Sorry. It's a Monday. I'm sleepy. But with the sponge daubers, all I did with this was I just kind of pounced on my ink pad and then I just kind of rubbed it in a circle. That was really dark. I think I used a different color on this actually. So, but yes, that's all you need to do. You can do it with just kind of the edge, a lighter touch, a harder touch. You can make really cool. I'll show you. You can make just little circles. So if you wanted to make a whole bunch of like polka dot paper, you could do so just with a sponge dauber on your fingertip. These are also really good. You can actually pounce right on your stamps with them. So if you had, say, a fall leaf, you could ink it up and say like a yellow color, and then you could take a sponge dauber and like your orange, and you could kind of pounce around the edges and make it multicolored. So lots of good uses for sponge daubers as well. So that's another way you can color it. And then I have one last way I can show you. Oh, and this was actually the color I used on that last one. So I have a finished one here. And all I did was a watercolor wash on this. So I did an entire thing of just kind of varying shades of green, right? So I've got the Pear Pizzazz here. And if you want to do any watercoloring with your ink pads, you just squeeze them in the middle, and then they get this little pool of ink in the lid. So I'm going to take my biggest water painter. So it's a big, wide brush. I've got water in the well here. Now, if you're using watercolor paper or our shimmery white paper, those are made to hold up to water. They're a little thicker, they're coated, right? So they're made to hold water and really watercolor in depth in. Our basic white paper, you can do a little bit of watercoloring, but it tends to pill up if you go over and over the spots. It'll kind of start, deteriorating, right? Designer paper is super thin. It's much thinner than our cardstock. So this is only a quick one. So what I'm going to do here is, you can probably see it says push right there. It says it on both sides. So I'm actually going to push until I get some water coming out. You'll see I've got a drop of water, and that's going to dilute that. And then I'm just literally just going to brush right over this cardstock. I mean, it's super, super fast. I'll just pick up a little more ink as I run out. More up here. And that's it. So you can see it's curling. I would probably put this under a book or something like that until it dried so it was going to be flat. These, the same kind of thing. You just want to squeeze them until you get that water coming out, and then just rub them on your scrap paper until it's clear, and you're good to go to a next one as well. They do unscrew. Maybe, there we go. I was twisting the wrong part. So the entire thing kind of comes apart, and you can just fill it with water. And that way you don't have to have a cup of water on your table, especially if you've got kids. So these are really nice to use with kids because the water is contained, right? So you can still make a mess, obviously, but it's a little better. Yeah, and these come in a set of 3 as well. They come with 3 different tips. So you've got the super wide, the medium, and then the finer point. So if you like to do coloring and things like that, these are a fabulous little addition to your collection as well. There it is. Like I had another one. Yep. And I absolutely love these. I, for years, was scared of this whole watercolor wash thing. I'm like, that scares me. I'm not an artist. Turns out, guys, we're all artists, okay? We're just, none of us are necessarily Van Gogh, and that's fine because he's missing an ear. So I don't really want to be that kind of artist. So there's your different ways that you can color black and white cards or designer paper, right? We've got lots of different options here with our blender pens. Who knew? So many options. So there's really something kind of for everybody. If you're just super, super simple, just stick to your watercolor pencils. If you want to get a little more artsy, add the blender pens. If you like to blend colors, obviously the Stampin' Blends are perfect. If you really want to get those artistic vibes going, watercolor washes are great. And if you just want to like blob on some color, man, those sponge daubers are fun, let me tell you. I'll have to do some cool techniques with those and show you just what you can do with those. So, all right. Did I cover everything? I think I did. Let's have a chat. So hopefully you guys learned a little something today. That is my goal every Monday. And even if you never buy anything from me, I definitely want to increase your creative muscle, because just like any other muscle, the more you use it, stronger it gets. So if you want to see even more things with the retiring products, stick around on the Facebook page this week, because I'll be showing off some of the things that are still available. So those will be coming at you. And yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, send me a message, shoot me an email. However, I'd love to answer them. I'm here to help. All right. So until next week, I'm still Stamper Nan. See you next week.